perspective, David, you're part of that group that's helping try and predict and prevent and helping law enforcement bring, that partnership between law enforcement and our industry and insurance. From your perspective, though, what should insurers be doing themselves to ensure optimal preparedness and resilience for their own companies and organizations?
Yeah, there's a couple answers in there, so I'll unpack it for the information sharing. So the Information Sharing and Analysis Center, called ISAC, you're probably familiar with the FS-ISAC, the Financial Sector Information Sharing and Analysis, was one of the first ones stood up. It was actually myself and Assistant Secretary Leslie Ireland, former Assistant Secretary of Treasury, with Jim Clapper at the DNI, really pushed that model in partner with the Department of Homeland Security. So DHS now really owns the information sharing programmatics in the United States. So first thing is go to the DHS website and sign up for the Information Sharing and Analysis Center that affects your business. Let's get you into the door so you have that infrastructure to get real information from the Department of Homeland Security and the FBI. Also, when it comes to crime and intelligence, the National Insurance Crime Bureau, that's what we do here. We bridge that gap. My senior management team is going to be people like myself, the head of intelligence. We also have insurance carrier. Our new CFO is going to come from the insurance industry. We're announcing that tomorrow, as well as my senior team, our former Assistant United States Attorney, a former Deputy Attorney General, and then 3 other senior executives from the FBI. So partner with us in this space. Many of you already do that. We're also aligned with this, how to get the intelligence to you, and then also fight cyber-related crimes that are causing losses to the insurance industry. But then 2 things that need to happen in a company. You need to protect yourselves, protect your brand, and protect your personnel. Make sure you have good internal cyber hygiene protocols and procedures, and you have the right experts that are either working for your company or you have it contracted out. And I won't mention any contracts by name, but there's very good organizations out there that can provide contract service. Second component is have a plan of action. If an attack occurs, what is the break glass moment? What are you going to do to protect yourself and your own personnel? The second component to that is, how are you getting the information from an insurance perspective to underwrite the risk? If we're waiting for the data and analysis to come on these risks, it's going to be after an event. I would hate to see multiple catastrophic events and the losses occur. If there's information already out there by the US government or law enforcement organizations, it can help mitigate that up front. And then from the underwriting perspective, and Sean, you mentioned, I'd be interested in your thoughts on this further, is the requirement, if you're going to underwrite a policy, to have some sort of cyber hygiene, critical nodes that you must have. If I'm going to underwrite you, if I was a carrier, what are the requirements you have? Do you have a cybersecurity plan? Do you have a preparedness plan? Are there basic requirements that we're going to have that you must have to be underwritten? I'd be interested in your thoughts on that and where the industry is. It seems like the industry is all over in that place and are trying to get there, but maybe not where they need to be.
Well, I think this is a good reflection, Dave, of kind of this evolution that we're talking about in terms of evolving into more of a resilient focus method of insuring, because it's a two-way street here when it comes to cyber. And more you are seeing partnerships with insurance companies and tech companies that can come in and actually assess the risk, close the windows, if you will, that are open and vulnerable to cyber attacks. So that's one area where we're seeing a trend of insurance companies working to come in first and figure out, assess what the cyber risk potential is, close the windows, create more security, update different policies and procedures, make sure that the insureds have plans in place to ensure that they have their data protected. They're making the right disclosures, those types of things. And when you have that in place, then it does make it easier to underwrite. And so again, the insurance industry is more and more working with the insureds to ensure that there's protection measures in place so that, again, you can underwrite the risk at a lower price level, which is more comfortable, but at the same time, you're reducing reducing the risk itself and creating more of a pattern of resiliency, which is becoming more and more important, because we're talking here today about cyber and terrorism, but obviously we're seeing other risks evolve as our population increases and population moves into more danger-prone areas. We've got to figure out ways that we can promote resiliency in different ways. So that's an overall trend we're seeing with cyber, but we're also seeing it again with infrastructure insurance in all types of things, as we're right here in the heat of a hurricane season and seeing the devastation from hurricanes and seeing infrastructure literally collapse that we need to rebuild. we have to begin to rebuild these in a way that's more resilient to withstand, the risks that are evolving in many different ways beyond even just cyber.